Are you ever going to buy skis, by the way? Or are you going to do rentals for life? I don't think you are.
Oh, you mean
You're
the
so
ones
asset light.
Yeah.
You know?
Dinking it up without owning any
You're
skis.
such a dinkwad. Yeah, you want to go anywhere with
Gonna rent over here. Gonna rent over
tiny
there.
weekender bag.
Live my life in that bag. This is Nick.
This is Jack.
It's Wednesday, March 1st, and today's pod is absolutely the best one yet. It's a T-boy.
You know, it's my birthday month.
I know, we're getting close.
It's Alex's birthday month.
Oh, talk to me. Let's round up on this thing.
It's going to be our second son's birthday month, too.
Jack, did you fill out our shout-out form?
We might get a March 3rd, March 4th, March 5th situation.
And I'm no mathematician, but I think your half birthdays are going to line up too, Jack.
That's true. Great call.
First story for today's pod. What do we got, man?
Pokemon just launched a video game you play in your sleep.
Because the sleep economy is about to wake up. Pikachu!
For our second story, Goldman Sachs is abandoning its plan for a consumer bank.
Because the opposite of disruption is disruption.
And our third and final story, Hims and Hers, just had a record year for their telemedicine business.
These guys aren't selling Advil, they're selling a brand.
And that brand's not Advil.
No, it is not.
But before we hit that wonderful mix, Nick.
Hey, fantastic mix. We woke up today, honestly, we didn't know what we were going to cover. I love what we ended up covering, Jack.
Grab the phone in your pocket. How much do you think that phone's worth?
I mean, Jack, I'm looking at this thing. I don't know.
How much could you sell for?
I got a broken screen, like a cracked case, a chipped corner. I'm thinking 300, 400, maybe $200.
$275.
Okay.
Well, last week an iPhone sold at an auction for $63.
Go on, Jack.
Sorry, $63,000.
Well, can you be more specific, man?
An iPhone sold at an auction last week for $63,356.
Yetis, we're talking 60 grand for a phone.
This phone was originally bought for $600. So selling it for 60 grand, that's 100x return for the former owner.
Ipso facto, over 16 years, this Apple phone outperformed Apple stock.
But this wasn't any old iPhone, Nick.
No, it was not. What kind of phone are we talking about, man?
First generation, never opened, still in the box, mint condition, iPhone 1.
Thought you were going to say a Babe Ruth rookie card? We're talking about an iPhone, people.
They didn't even call it the iPhone 1 back then. It was just the iPhone.
They didn't know if they were even going to make a second one.
Now, Yetis, the iPhone is the most profitable product of all time, save for maybe oil.
And this is the first one of those most profitable products of all time.
This is like the pants Elvis wore the first time he thrusted his hips.
The first time he was all shook up.
And those pants changed everything.
This iPhone, it changed everything.
Well, it turns out there's 500 other artifact Apple items going to auction this week.
For example, Steve Jobs' old Birkenstocks.
The ones he wore on his sweaty old feet.
Steve Jobs' original shoes.
The ones he wore when he invented the iPhone.
They were just sold for $220,000.
220 grand for some sweaty old leather.
$250,000 for a couple of Crocs, Jack.
So Yetis, the next time you're at your parents' place, open up your parents' old closet and find one of those old iPads they used to have.
Open up that dongle drawer and pull out an iPod mini.
You know why?
Why?
Because going once, going twice.
Ding, 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 sold to the man in our three stories.
15 years before this song, two boys from the Northeast met in the dorm. They had an idea that caused a cultural storm. It's the best one yet, but the best is the norm. Jack, Nick, that's it. I don't even think they need to practice. 50%, that's a fat tip. T-Boy City on your list. If you know, you know, cause we ready to go. We can't wait no more, so just start the show. Start the show.
For our first story, Pokemon just launched a sleep video game and a sleep toy.
Because the sleep economy has been snoozing for way too long.
Hey, sleep economy, wake up. Now, Yetis, there is one really annoying problem that faces all the companies that Jack and I have covered, and it isn't competition.
No, the problem facing every company in the world is the 8 hours a day we humans sleep.
Because the last time Jack and I checked, you can't put on makeup when you're sleeping.
The last time we checked, you can't scarf down a burrito while you're asleep.
And the last time we checked, you absolutely, definitely cannot play video games while you're sleeping. Cannot happen.
Until now. Pokemon just launched a video game that you play while you sleep.
It's a video game you play by sleeping.
Yesterday, we told you about a cereal that puts you to sleep. Today, it's a video game for your sleep.
It's called Pokemon Sleep, and it actually launches this summer.
And the game starts when you stop being awake.
Now, Yetis, here's what Jack and I found fascinating about this story. What Pokemon is really doing is gamifying your sleep.
Pokemon Sleep offers video game style incentives to get you a full night's sleep.
All right, so here's how this is going to go down. First, you can leave your phone next to your bed, or you can buy the new Pokemon Go Plus ball toy that they just invented too.
And the ball toy just has one button.
Right.
You tap it right when you're going to sleep, and you tap it when you wake up. So it tracks your sleep with the honor system.
It's using the honor system. Like, if you get up to pee at 2 a.m., you better tap that thing to pause it and tap it to turn it back on.
So it tracks your sleep, and it's going to divide your sleep into 3 different types of sleep.
Right. You're going to have dozing, snoozing, and slumbering.
The better you sleep without touching your phone, the more Pokemon characters you will unlock.
And that's the gamification. So, like, dozing is going to win you a Pikachu.
Snoozing is going to win you a Charizard.
And Jack, what happens if you're in the snoring phase of sleep?
Snorlax.
Yeah, you doze off too late, though. You're not going to get that Bulbasaur, are you, Jack?
No, you're not. But this app also comes with a built-in alarm that is adorable.
So Pikachu is going to sing you a lullaby to get you to sleep.
And then it's going to adorably wake you up with an ever-increasing Pikachu, Pikachu, Pikachu.
Jack, I prefer your Cookie Crisp, but I will settle for a Pikachu wake-up.
The goal of this game is noble. It's to get you more sleep.
And the incentive of this game is new characters to play with. So what they've done is they've gamified slumber.
The Pokemon that you have, they grow better and they thrive more with more sleep.
Especially Squirtle.
Just like you.
Which makes me feel we should do like an ASMR sleep podcast, Jack.
No, we're not doing ASMR. It's always creepy.
So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Pokemon?
See, I told you. Yetis, the sleep economy is about to wake up.
Besties, Jack and I first noticed the sleep economy concept 3 years ago when we were researching for this podcast.
We were covering the Casper mattress IPO, and they mentioned in the IPO paperwork sleep economy 59 times.
Casper estimated that the sleep economy was worth about $500 billion, $500 billion.
Now, considering mankind spends a third of their lives sleeping, $500 billion is a tiny market size.
Right, because Jack and I are looking at the math here, and the other 2/3 of our lives are the rest of the economy, which is about $100 trillion.
The awake economy is $100 trillion. The sleep economy is $500 billion.
And here's where the value is. Just because you're sleeping doesn't mean you can't be commercialized.
Technology is pushing innovators to turn sleep into a business.
And the wellness megatrend is pushing consumers to see sleep as a product worth investing in.
Mattress companies, health tracker companies, meditation apps.
Oh, how about a cereal that helps put you to sleep, Jack?
They're all trying to commercialize sleep.
Because the sleep economy is finally waking up. Mattress, mattress, mattress. For our second story, Goldman Sachs just had its investor day, and they just told us that they're looking to sell or shut down their fintech app, Marcus.
Because not every company is a tech company.
Now, Jack, we should back up here. The last time we covered Goldman Sachs, we said it was official. We called it official, didn't we?
Morgan Stanley is the new Goldman Sachs.
Morgan is the new Goldman Sachs because Goldman has lost its crown as the top pure play investment bank on Wall Street.
Yeah. Now, Morgan Stanley is big brother or big sister. Goldman Sachs, you're the little bro. You're the little sis.
Come in here for a noogie. I don't want a noogie. I don't want a noogie.
Get in the back seat, Goldman. Morgan's sitting up front.
Yeah, someone's getting someone's dessert stolen. So at Goldman's investor day yesterday, Goldman did what many other little brothers and little sisters do.
They followed in big siblings' footsteps.
Yeah, Goldman is shifting its strategy to focus on wealth management for wealthy clients. Interesting. Where have we heard that before?
That sounds exactly like the shift Morgan Stanley made 10 years ago.
Because it is. So Yetis, over on 200 West Street, if Goldman is zucking Morgan Stanley's idea to manage rich people's money, we know what you're thinking.
If it's going to do more of that, it has to do less of something else, right?
Right. Like Goldman can't keep doing everything. Like they got to focus on one thing. So they're not going to do something anymore.
Well, Goldman confirmed yesterday they're going to stop trying to be the bank for everyone.
Or as the CEO of Goldman, DJ David Solomon said, we are considering strategic alternatives to our consumer division.
If you work in a division and the CEO says they're considering strategic alternatives for that division,
Translation?
it's not good news. It means they're trying to sell your division, and if they can't sell it, they might shut it down.
It's corporate speak for
We're done with this.
it's not good. It's not good. It's not good. So what he's talking about actually, Yetis, is Marcus. Marcus is Goldman Sachs's fintech app for investing, for checking, for credit cards. It was like their cool new sexy young person app.
It's named after the founder of Goldman Sachs, Marcus Goldman, and your contact with it is probably through the Apple Card.
Right. Because no one really realizes this, but Goldman's Marcus fintech product does the back end for the Apple Card.
Yeah, nobody knows about it, and apparently Goldman makes like barely any money off it.
Well, 3 years ago, Goldman Sachs said it aspired to be the leading digital consumer bank with Marcus.
But it's lost $6 billion since launching Marcus in 2016.
In fact, Goldman Sachs won't even break even on this big technology investment until 2025 at the earliest.
So little sister is quitting its dream and following big sis's footsteps instead.
Stop copying me. So, Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Goldman Sachs?
Not every company is a tech company.
Yet he's starting around 2014. Jack and I noticed that consultants began telling executives every company must be a tech company.
Every company has to be a tech company.
Yes, they did. They said it.
The New York Times said it in 2016. CNBC said it the following year. Wall Street Journal said it the year after that.
Like, if you don't have a developer, if you don't have an app, if you don't have an engineer, get one now. You need one. You must be a tech company.
That's why then CEO Lloyd Blankfein said this about Goldman. We are a tech company, not a finance company.
But honestly, we're looking at it and Goldman isn't a tech company. It's a finance company.
You're a finance company. Your tech division lost $6 billion.
Oh, that does sound like a tech company, Jack.
True.
It does. But they're not. They really are a finance company. They're not a tech company.
Yetis, when tech stocks were constantly going up, every company said they were a tech company.
But to grow profits, companies are realizing maybe we shouldn't try to be a tech company.
Because you know what?
What, Jack?
Not every company is a tech company.
And that's okay. Anyone can say they're a tech company.
The key is to be
a tech company.
And now a word from our sponsor, Robinhood.
Golf at 11 a.m., pickleball by 2.
Gotta see the grandkids, but I don't know if we'll have enough time.
You're probably not thinking about retiring to Del Boca Vista quite yet.
But you could be thinking about how to afford retirement.
So the newest product from Robinhood, the IRA.
The only individual retirement account with a 1% match on every eligible dollar you contribute every year, limitations apply.
In an IRA, your money has tax-deferred or tax-free growth potential.
So older you can maybe play pickleball at 2 o'clock.
To get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBoy and get your first stock for free. Conditions apply.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY.
All investments involve risk. Contributions to and withdrawals from IRAs may entail tax consequences. Robinhood does not provide tax advice.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC.
For our third and final story, actually, before we continue, Jack, what are your feelings on Pikachu, by the way?
I think it's an adorable, like, space version of a koala bear.
Okay, so you're cool with Pikachu and you're cool with Winnie the Pooh, but you still don't like Barney? I don't really, this is interesting.
The man in the costume, Nick. It's the man, not the dinosaur.
Jack's dino shaming continues. For our third and final story, Hims and Hers just had a record year for telemedicine.
Hims and Hers sells generic drugs at premium prices because commodities don't exist.
Commodities don't exist. But Yetis, before we continue with the story, Jack and I should read a disclaimer from our lawyers.
Contact your doctor if this podcast lasts longer than 4 hours.
Nick and Jack can't be held responsible in case the podcast lasts longer than 4 hours. If less than 4 hours, please contact your doctor immediately with no signs of relief. Yetis, Hims and Hers is a $2 billion company that began with one pill, and that pill was a Viagra pill.
Viagra. The medicine isn't supposed to last forever, and neither did the patent for Viagra.
Yeah. So when the patent for Viagra expired in 2017, entrepreneur Andrew Dudum jumped on the opportunity.
Andrew Dudum started making the little blue pill himself. and then he sold it direct to consumer with no pharmacy in the middle.
Exactly. That company was For Hims, which they then expanded to For Hers and began selling birth control direct to consumer to women.
Hims and Hers went public via SPAC in 2021.
Now we know what you're thinking, because SPACs have not done too well on the stock market lately.
My portfolio can vouch for that one, Nick.
So can mine too, Jack.
BarkBox, anyone?
We're in this together.
But this is one of the few SPACs trading above where it originally listed.
Jack and I noticed this milestone. Hims stock has soared 75% so far this year after jumping 15% yesterday. It's one of the few SPACs that's up.
So why is Hims the best performing SPAC stock right now?
Well, because every part of the Hims and Hers business is doubling right now.
This company announced earnings yesterday and declared the milestone that 1 million people get prescription drugs shipped every month through Hims and Hers.
That's up 88% from last year.
Revenues jumped by 94% to $500 million last year.
Now, Hims is still losing money, but that loss shrank by half last year.
And now this company's grown up. They offer dozens of prescription medications and over-the-counter personal products like shampoo.
But yet here is the wildest part about the Hims business model.
None of the products they sell are new. They're all old products.
So the company is new, but all the products are like decades old.
But what Hims and Hers is really selling is something new.
Which is going to mess with your mind. So Jack, what's the takeaway for our buddies over at Hims and Hers?
Commodities only exist in the mind of the inept.
Look, Yetis, today over a dozen different companies in the United States sell the exact same generic Viagra pill as Hims does.
When the product is exactly the same, it's hard to profit because the lowest price wins all the sales.
But here's the key. They're not the same. The pill is the same, but Hims realized that it's actually selling much more than just a pill.
Hims and Hers differentiates with packaging, with a telehealth app to get your prescription from home, and with frictionless refills delivered.
They realize that they're targeting millennial customers who prefer everything around the pill. The pill that's the same as every other pill.
That's how Hims and Hers have gotten 1 million people to pay more for the same pill that other pharmacies are offering.
That's how Hims and Hers got 1 million people to pay more for an old product.
Because commodities only exist in the mind of the inept.
Jack, can you whip up the takeaways for us over there?
Pokemon Sleep launches this summer. It's a game to promote sleep.
The sleep economy, it's finally waking up.
For our second story, Goldman Sachs is looking to sell Marcus, their consumer banking app.
Because honestly, not every company is a tech company.
And our third and final story, Hims and Hers stock is up 75% this year, and they've got 1 million people to get pills from them every month.
Commodities only exist in the mind of the inept. Now, time for the best fact yet. This one sent in by Jamie Lynn from lovely Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Push and play.
Here we go.
The designer of Jackie Kennedy's famous taffeta wedding dress was Black trailblazer Anne Lowe, who faced segregation at fashion school but eventually became a society favorite. At the time, despite the papers breathlessly covering the wedding, only the Washington Post named Anne Lowe as the designer. Today, her designs can be seen at the Metropolitan Museum of Art and DC's National Museum of African American History and Culture.
So Jackie O married John Kennedy in 1953.
There we go, following you, Jack.
Newport, Rhode Island.
Lovely.
The dress is white and it was beautiful.
We're looking at it right now. Fashion icon. This thing was a statement.
The designer was black. It was Anne Lowe. I'm glad she's getting some credit now.
And she didn't get credit at the time. Yetis, you look fantastic today. And if you want to help grow this podcast, the best thing you can do is to turn to that buddy next to you you're having lunch with and say, hey, HYHTBOY.
Turn to that buddy you're having breakfast cereal with, or that buddy you're having evening, nighttime sleep cereal with.
That's our kind of cereal.
And say,
Jack and I, we'll see you tomorrow.
no more ASMR.
Okay, one last one. And before we go, congratulations to Yeti Billy Ritz, who's celebrating being a dog dad to Baxter the doggy in Mexico.
And happy 5-year anniversary to Tai Tai Saul, in San Francisco.
And Spencer Stride just got a new mattress over in Miami.
And happy birthday to Marcus Karras in Roswell, Georgia.
And a happy high-impact birthday to Gabby Wilkerson-Melnick from Los Angeles, but currently living life in the East Bay.
And happy birthday to Justin Anderson, the media magnate in Texas.
And Eric Carroll in Pompano Beach, Florida. Enjoy that birthday.
I'll tell you, Mikey Pollock, the guy hates his birthday.
He does.
But he's celebrating it anyway in Teaneck, New Jersey.
Unhappy birthday, Mikey Pollock.
Unhappy birthday to you. Unhappy birthday to you. This is Jack. Nick and I both own stock of Apple and Robinhood. And now a word from our sponsor, Robinhood.
Not spending money can be tough. We're all tempted by that top we just saw on TikTok.
Even harder, saving money for when you're 60.
But what if you got paid money to save money?
Robinhood Retirement offers the only IRA that does that on every eligible contribution every year.
For every eligible dollar you contribute to your retirement fund, they match 1% of it. No employer necessary. Limitations apply.
To get started, go to Robinhood.com/TBOY and get your first stock for free. Conditions apply.
That's Robinhood.com/TBOY.
All investments involve risk. Contributions to and withdrawals from IRAs may entail tax consequences. Robinhood does not provide tax advice.
Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Dude, that was kind of awesome. We were all over the place on that thing. We were slipping here, sliding there. I don't know what we were going to say. You whipped out something about like...
Yeah, what did I whip out?
You whipped out something about Steve Jobs. Like you know what brought it all together? Steve Jobs, the sandals he was wearing when he invented the iPhone. Dude, don't let the truth get in the way of a good story. That was great.
No.